So could Mike have become a scarer? I mean, he read every book on scaring, he studied scaring history, theory, and techniques, he understood every child's fear, and growing up, that's all he ever dreamed of doing. Mike wanted to be a scarer, and sure, he didn't have the traditional scarer look, but we've seen plenty of scarers succeed in all shapes and sizes. I mean, everyone in Oozma Kappa somehow became scarers, so why not Mike? Why did everyone say he wasn't scary? What actually held Mike Wazowski back from becoming a scarer? Well, by going through his background, his time at Monsters University, and the professional scaring landscape, I think I found the answer for you. Now, Michael Wazowski was born on November 16th in Monstropolis to an extremely supportive mother, and it was clear from a young age that Mike was never going to be the scariest monster ever. Mike had many horns, rubbery skin, and skinny little arms and legs, and even when he was fully grown, he only ended up being 3 foot 9 inches small and was a lightweight at 140 pounds. Very different from Sulley's 7 feet tall build at 800 pounds. Plus, Mike also got braces and later a retainer. He had bad eyesight in his one huge eye, and he had his own teddy bear into adulthood named Little Mikey. Mike may have wanted to be a big scarer, but he was actually a tiny, dorky monster through and through, and unfortunately, the monsters he grew up with noticed. As a child, Mike struggled to find a place for himself in the monster world. Mike didn't connect with many little monsters his age and often felt like he was forgotten about and left behind. Many children told him that he didn't belong, and so he became obsessed with proving himself. If he could somehow get the attention of the world and show everyone that Mike Wazowski was somebody special, his life would finally mean something. He just had to find what he wanted to do, and he discovered that on a field trip to Monsters Incorporated. Once Mike saw the scare floor and witnessed frightening Frank McKay, the top scarer at Monsters Inc., scare a child with his own eye, his life changed forever. Now, there was no doubt in Mike Wazowski's mind that he wanted to be a scarer. But why did scaring remain so important to him long after this experience? This wasn't the start of a childhood phase. Scaring was a defining aspect of his life. And here's why. Of course, there are the obvious, big, exciting reasons that make every little monster want to be a scarer. I mean, scarers have a cool job where they fearlessly scare children in another world. And for doing this, they're treated like athletes or rock stars. Scarers get their own scare cards. They are given special treatment across the city, like access to exclusive reservations at restaurants. And their income was sizable enough that they could buy awesome cars. But Mike's desire goes far beyond the wealth, fame, and prestige that can come from scaring. He wanted to be seen as a real monster. You see, especially in Monsters University, we were introduced to a belief in the monster world that scariness was the true measure of a monster. This was a succinct perspective on the worth of monsters provided by Abigail Hardscrabble, the former holder of the all-time scare record, the dean of the top scaring program in the monster world, and an internationally recognized authority on the subject of scaring. Monsters respected her thought leadership and generally agreed with her sentiment. Monsters looked down on those non-frightening monsters amongst them. And unfortunately for Mike, he knew on some level that included him. All of that to say, for Mike, it must have felt like the only way to be taken seriously and to be treated with respect was by definitively proving to the world that he was scary. Thus, in the years following Mike's visit to Monsters Inc., he became obsessed with scaring. He collected every scare card he could find, he constantly read about the history, theory, and craft behind scaring, and he was extremely focused on getting good grades in high school so that he could attend the top college, Monsters University. And this school was significant for 2 reasons. One, it's the place that frightening Frank McKay studied scaring, and Mike wanted to follow in his inspiration's tentacles. He hoped to wear the MU hat he was given as a child while being a real scaring student of that school. But even more important than that was the fact that Monsters University was by far the best scaring school ever. From the Monsters University PR newsletter, we're told that Monsters University's School of Scaring had ranked the #1 program in the monster world for 142 consecutive years. FearTech was historically the second best scaring school and was based in the Monstropolis metro area. That would have made it a good option for Mike as a monster who grew up in the city, but that's never what he wanted. Mike longed to scare with the best of the best. Like, he wanted to compete against the heir apparent of Fearco and befriend the son of the legendary scarer Bill Sullivan. Those are the kinds of experiences he wanted. Mike longed for the best chance to become a great scarer. So for years, he focused all of his energy on this goal of making it into Monsters University. And when the moment finally came to apply, the school saw greatness in him. And as a result, Mike Wazowski was accepted to MU. Once Mike got to campus though, there were plenty of monsters who were skeptical that he had what it took to become a scarer, including Dean Hardscrabble herself. But to attempt to prove them wrong, Mike once again got back to work. But all of his effort wouldn't be enough. You see, once Mike helped destroy the scream canister that Hardscrabble used to break the all-time scare record, she let go of any restraint and told him the truth, that she didn't believe he was scary. And just like that, even though Mike had been acing every test, was showing improvement in his technique, and had never been given an opportunity to showcase his abilities in the scare simulator, he was removed from the scaring program. But Mike still didn't lose hope because he questioned the intuition of everyone around him. He didn't believe that Hardscrabble or anyone else could actually determine whether or not he was scary. And he was absolutely right. From Professor Knight's experience, he's seen that most monsters don't know scary, but neither do these leaders in the scaring program. I mean, not only did the scaring program not initially cultivate Squishy, Don, Art, and the Terrys, but they all would inevitably become great scarers at the top screen producer in the monster world, Monsters Incorporated. Through Mike's efforts in the scare games, he showed all of Monsters University that they were a group of monsters that shouldn't have been underestimated. The truth is that a great scarer can come from anywhere. As Mike pointed out, there's no one type of scarer. Each scarer has to use their differences to their advantage, and we've seen some very untraditional scarers. I mean, like Dorothy the Pink Widow Newburn was literally a pink puffball with legs. Screaming Bob Gunderson was quite the old-timer, and there were plenty of odd-looking monsters on the scare floors, like Chet the Claw Alexander is literally just a big crab. And this idea that you can never determine who is scary by their looks holds true for the big, scary-looking monsters too. In the Art of Monsters University, we're told specifically that Jaws Theta Chi is the prime example of how monsters may look like they should be the best, but they aren't. The Jocks fraternity was filled with huge monsters with big muscles, no necks, and a raw competitive fury, but they lacked the intelligence needed to be great. That's literally how their fraternity is described. Big on brawn, but short on brain. I mean, they cheated in the first round in the scare games against Oozma Kappa. There was literally no reason to cheat. They pretty much eliminated themselves. Being bigger doesn't automatically make you scarier, and the reverse is true too. Being small doesn't eliminate you from the possibility of being scary. And this is the reason that Squishy Squibbles exists. Squishy is even smaller than Mike. He's even softer and cuter too, and he's even more socially awkward and attached to his mother, but he had something in him that made him scary. He could move without being heard or detected, and that meant he even frequently scared Mike. What this all means is that there's nothing that makes any one type of monster scary. There's a variety of factors that come together to make a great scarer. The director of Monsters University, Dan Scanlon, even explains that there's some other inherent thing, an intangible quality that goes beyond a monster's looks or their size that determines whether or not they can be a scarer. But what about Mike Wazowski? I mean, Mike never got a fair shot on the scare simulator, and having his first attempt at scaring a human child actually be within a cabin filled with children was insane. There were so many of them. Plus, he didn't have a folder with research about what any of these girls would find scary. I mean, we're told in the Essential Guide for Monsters, Inc. that the company's research and development department is completely focused on matching children to their ideal monsters. Maybe these children were just not an exact match for Mike Wazowski. Maybe there was a child out there that would find Mike scary. But unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. Mike may have had the smarts, the work ethic, and the relentless passion to become a scarer. He may have been willing to fight hard to make progress towards his goals, but when he reached deep down, he didn't have the ability to become scary. Mike wanted to find that within himself. His friends hoped it was there. When we all watched Monsters University for the first time, we were all praying at the scare games that Mike could flip that switch and become a scarer, but it just wasn't there. The truth is that Mike had already spent over 10 years pursuing scaring. He memorized every textbook, he knew every scare theory, he understood how to train scarers at an elite level, and he spent an entire semester being trained by one of the greatest scaring professors in the monster world. There was nothing more that anyone could teach him that would unlock the scariness within him. It wasn't just his size or his appearance. Fundamentally, his mindset and personality just didn't align with being a terrifying monster. Unfortunately, Mike got as far as he possibly could as a scarer. As Dan Scanlon stated in The Art of Monsters University, Mike realizes he needs to let go of what he thinks he has to be in order to be great so that he can make room for what truly makes him great. We all have characteristics about ourselves that we don't want to accept. The only way to become who we are meant to be is by embracing who we are. And Mike wasn't a scarer. Don't get me wrong, he was destined to go to the human world to collect energy. It just wasn't going to be screams. You see, by being approachable, funny looking, and non-threatening, Mike wasn't set up to be a scarer. He was set up to be the monster world's first jokester. If you'd like to see more Monsters Inc. videos like this one, follow for more. Let me know if you think Mike Wazowski could have become a scarer in the comments. And finally, I'm Isaac Carlson. Thanks for watching, and have a magical day.